Yes, indeed. Sister Martha and I have been talking all week about your sermon last Sunday. It really is wonderful, Dr. Harper, how in only 2 short years you've taken on the spirit of Brooklyn.
That's very gratifying, Miss Brewster.
You see, living here next to the church all our lives, we've seen many ministers come and go. And the spirit of Brooklyn, as we always say, is friendliness. And your sermons are not so much sermons as they are friendly talks.
Personally, I've always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons. Or have I met him yet?
Not yet, dear. Are the biscuits good?
Bully!
Would you like another biscuit, Dr. Harper?
No, thank you. I'll have no appetite for dinner now. I always eat too many of your biscuits just to taste that lovely jam.
But you haven't yet tried the quince. We always put a little apple in with it to take the tartness out.
No, thank you.
We'll send over a jar.
No, you can eat here so I can be sure of having your lovely biscuits with it.
I do hope they don't make us use that imitation flour again. With this war trouble, it may not be very charitable of me, but I've almost come to the conclusion that this Mr. Hitler isn't a Christian.
If only Europe were on another planet.
Europe, sir.
Yes, Teddy?
Point your gun the other way.
Gun?
Teddy.
To the west. There's your danger. There's your enemy. Japan.
Why? Yes, of course.
Teddy.
No, Aunt Abby. Not so much talk about Europe and more about the canal.
Well, let's not talk about war, shall we? Would you like another cup of tea, dear?
No, thank you, Aunt Abby.
Dr. Harper?
No, thank you. I must say that war and violence are far removed from these surroundings.
It is peaceful here, isn't it?
Yes, peaceful. The virtues of another day, they're all here. The gentle virtues that went out with candlelight, good manners, and low taxes.
It's one of the oldest houses in Brooklyn. It's just as when Grandfather Brewster built and furnished it. Except for the electricity. Mortimer was the one who persuaded us to put it in.
Yes, I can understand that. Your nephew Mortimer seems to live only by electric light.
He has to work so late, poor boy. I understand he's taking Elaine to the theater again with him tonight? Teddy, your brother Mortimer is going to be over a little later.
Delighted.
We're so happy it's Elaine Mortimer takes to the theater with him.
Well, it's a new experience for me to wait up until 3 o'clock in the morning for my daughter to be brought home.
Oh, Dr. Harper, I do hope you don't disapprove of Mortimer.
Well...
We'd feel so guilty if you did. Sister Martha and I, since it was here in our home that your daughter met Mortimer.
Of course, Miss Abby, of course. And so I'll say immediately that I believe Mortimer himself to be quite a worthy gentleman. But I must also admit that I have watched the growing intimacy between him and my daughter with some trepidation. For one reason, Miss Abby.
You mean his stomach?
His stomach?
His dyspepsia. He's bothered with it so, poor boy.
No, I'll be frank with you. I mean his unfortunate connection with the theater.
The theater? Oh no. Mortimer writes for a New York newspaper.
I know, Miss Abby, I know. But the dramatic critic is constantly exposed to the theater. And I don't doubt but what some of them do develop an interest for it.
Well, not Mortimer. You need not fear of that. Why, Mortimer hates the theater.
Really?
Yes, he writes awful things about the theater. But you can't blame him, poor boy. You see, he was so happy writing about real estate, which he really knew something about. And then they gave him this terrible night position.
My.
But, as he always says, the theater can't last much longer. And in the meantime, it's a living. Yes, I think if you give it like a year or two... No, hello, Miss Brewster. Officer Brophy. Mr. O'Hara, how are you?
Very well, Miss Brewster. What news have you brought me?
Colonel, we've got nothing to report.
Splendid. Thank you, gentlemen. At ease.
You know Dr. Harper?
Sure. Hello, Dr. Harper.
Hello.
We've come for the toys for the Christmas fund. Oh, yes.
That's splendid work you men do. Fixing up discarded toys to give poor children a happier Christmas.
Well, it gives us something to do when we have to sit around the station. See, you get tired playing cards, and then you start cleaning your gun, and the first thing you know, you shot yourself in the foot.
Teddy, why don't you go upstairs and grab that box from your Aunt Martha's room? How's Mr. Brophy? Mr. Brophy's been quite ill, Dr. Harper.
Pneumonia.
Yeah, he's still looking weak, but it's better. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'll get you some beef broth to take to him.
Oh, no, Barney, Abby, you've done so much for him already.
Sister Martha and I made it this morning. She's taking some over to poor Mr. Benitsky right now. It won't be a minute. Sit down and be comfortable, all of you.
Oh, she shouldn't go to all that trouble. Listen, try to stop her or her sister from doing something nice. And for nothing. They don't even care how you vote.
When I received my call to Brooklyn and moved next door, my wife wasn't well. When she died, and for months before, well, if I know what pure kindness and absolute generosity are, it's because I've known the Brewster sisters.
Journal! I have to call a cabinet meeting to get the release of those supplies!
You promised not to do it anymore. He used to do it in the middle of the night. Neighbors raised Cain with us.
Oh, he's quite harmless.
Suppose he just think he's Teddy Roosevelt. There's a lot worse people you could think he was.
Damn shame. A nice family like this hatching a cuckoo.
Well, his father, the old girl's brother, was some sort of a genius, wasn't he? And his father, Teddy's grandfather, seems to me I've heard he was a little crazy too.
Yeah, crazy like a fox. He made $1 million.
Really? Here in Brooklyn?
Yeah, patent medicine. He was some kind of quack of some sort. I think old Sergeant Edwards remembers him. But he used the house here as some sort of clinic to try them out on people.
Yeah, and I hear he used to make mistakes occasionally too.
Yeah, but the department never bothered him much. He was pretty useful on autopsies sometimes, especially poison cases.
Well, whatever he did, he left his daughters fixed for life, thank God for that.
Not that they spent anything ever on themselves.
Yes, I'm well acquainted with their charities.
You don't know a tenth of it. When I was with the Missing Persons Bureau, we were trying to trace an old man that we never did find. Did you know there's a renting agency that's got this house down on its list for furnished rooms? They don't rent rooms, but you can bet that anybody that comes here looking for a room goes away with a good meal and probably a few dollars in their kick.
It's just their way of digging up people to do some good too.
Well, now isn't this nice?
Oh, hello, Miss Brewster.
How do you do, Mr. Brophy? Mr. O'Hara, office of Dr. Harper?
How are you, Miss Brewster? We dropped in to get the Christmas toys.
Yes, of course, Teddy's Army and Navy. They were out, they're all packed.
Yeah, Teddy is upstairs. It seems that the cabinet needs to okay it.
Yes, of course. I hope Mrs. Brophy's better.
Yeah, well, your sister's getting me some soup.
We made it this morning. I just took some poor man who broke ever so many bones.
Oh, Martha, you're back. How was Mr. Manitsky?
It's pretty serious, I'm afraid. The doctor was there. They're going to amputate in the morning.
Can we be present?
No, he says it was against the rules.
You must spare yourself something. You couldn't be of any service.
Well, here's the beef broth, Miss Brophy. Make sure it's good and hot.
Yes, ma'am.
This is fine. It'll make a lot of kids happy. That O'Malley boy is nuts for soldiers.
Yeah, that's General Miles. I retired him. What's this? The Oregon!
Teddy, dear, put it back.
The Oregon goes to Australia.
Not Teddy.
No, I've given him my word to Fighting Bob Evans.
But Teddy,
What's the difference what kid gets it? Evans, is he Cohen? We'll run along, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Not at all.
bye.
Goodbye.
I must be getting home as well.
Oh, before you go, Dr. Harper.
George! George the Blockhouse!
Blockhouse?
The stairs are always up on hill.
Have you ever tried to persuade him that he wasn't Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, no.
So happy being Teddy Roosevelt.
Well, there was once, a long time ago. Remember, Martha? When we thought it would be nice for him if he'd be George Washington for a change.
But he stayed under his bed for days and just wouldn't be anybody.
And we'd so much rather he'd be Mr. Roosevelt than nobody.
Well, if he's happy, and what's more important, if you're happy, you make sure that he signs these.
What are they? Dr. Harper has made all arrangements for Teddy to go to Happydale Sanitarium after we pass on.
But why does Teddy have to study anything now?
Well, it's better to have it all settled. If the Lord should take you away suddenly, perhaps we couldn't persuade Teddy to commit himself. And that would mean a very unpleasant legal procedure. And Mr. Witherspoon understands that just to be filed away until the time comes to use them.
Mr. Witherspoon, who's he?
He's the superintendent of Happydale.
Dr. Harper has arranged for him to come by tomorrow or the next day to meet Teddy.
Well, I'd better be running along or Elaine will be over here looking for me.
Oh, give our love out to Elaine. And Dr. Harper, please don't think too harshly of Mortimer just because he's a dramatic critic. Somebody has to do those things.
Abby, did you just have tea?
Yes.
Isn't it rather late?
And dinner's going to be late too.
So why?
Teddy, got good news for you. You're going to Panama again to dig another lock for the canal.
Bully! Just bully! I shall prepare at once for the journey! George!
Abby, all by yourself?
Well, I just didn't know when you were coming back, and
But while I was out, you did it on your own.
I got along just fine.
Well, I'll run by downstairs and see.
Oh no, there wasn't time. I was all alone.
Well,
Martha, just look in the window seat. Oh, it's Elaine!
Good afternoon, Miss Abby. Good afternoon, Miss Martha.
oh, I thought Father was here. He just this minute left. Didn't you meet him?
No, I took the shortcut to a cemetery. Mortimer hasn't come yet.
No, not yet, dear.
He asked me to meet him here. What, do you mind if I wait?
Not at all.
Sit down.
But we must speak to Mortimer about doing these things to you.
Doing what?
Well, when a gentleman is taking a lady out, he must call for her at her house.
Well, there's something about calling for a girl at a parsonage that discourages any man who doesn't embroider.
Mortimer has really done this too often. We must speak to him.
Oh, please don't. After young man's idea of nightlife was to take me out to a prayer meeting, it is wonderful to go to a theater every night of my life.
Well, it's very comforting for us too. If Mortimer has to see those plays he has to see, at least he's doing it next to the minister's daughter.
Oh, Elaine, what you must think of us not having tea cleared away by this time?
Oh, darling, don't bother with anything in the kitchen. Just wait until Mortimer comes back.
Yes, Father must have been surprised not to find me at home. I better run over and say goodnight to him.
It's a shame you missed him, dear.
And if Mortimer comes, you tell him I'll be right back. Oh, hello, Lord.
Hello, Elaine.
Abby,
Martha.
Mortimer's here.
Hello, Martha. Where are you going somewhere?
I was just going over to tell Father not to wait up for me tonight.
I didn't know they was still being done. Even in Brooklyn.
Hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Aunt Abby.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. And you look well. Haven't changed much since yesterday.
It was yesterday, wasn't it? My, we've been seeing an awful lot of you lately.
Abby, don't we have something to do in the kitchen? You know, the tea things.
Oh, the tea things. Yes. Well, won't you two just make yourselves at home? Just
Make yourselves at home.
Well, can't you take a hint?
No, that was pretty obvious. Lack of inventiveness, I would say.
Yeah, that's exactly what you'd say.
Where do you want to go for dinner?
I don't care. Not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we'll wait until after the show?
Well, that'd make it pretty late, wouldn't it?
I know, but a little stinker we're seeing tonight. From what I've heard, it will be at Blake's for 10 o'clock.
You ought to be referred to this place.
And is Blake's ever fair to me?
I've never seen you walk out on a musical.
Oh, that musical isn't opening tonight, dear.
No.
Well, you've got to learn the rules. In a musical, there are always 4 postponements and 3 changes of title. They liked the New Haven. Still needs a lot of work.
Well, I was hoping it was a musical.
You have such a light mind.
Not a bit. Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on you. After a serious play, we join the proletariat in the subway, and I listen to a lecture on the drama. After a musical, you bring me home in a taxi, and you make a few passes.
No. That's a very inaccurate piece of reporting.
Well, I will admit that after the Berman play, you told me I had authentic beauty. And that's a hell of a thing to say to a girl. However, it wasn't her first musical. You told me I have nice legs. And I do.
For a minister's daughter, you know a lot about life. Where'd you learn it?
In a car loft.
I'll explain it to you sometime. A close connection between eroticism and religion.
Darling, religion never gets as high as a car loft. Which reminds me, I better run over and say goodnight to Father.
Oh, I've never been able to rationalize it.
What?
My falling in love with a girl who lives in Brooklyn.
Falling in love? You're not stooping to the articulate, are you?
The only way I can regain my self-respect is to keep you in New York.
Say keep.
No, but I've come to the conclusion that you're holding out for legalities.
Oh, I can afford to be a good girl for quite a few years yet.
And I can't wait that long. Why can't we be married in a hurry? Say tonight.
I'm afraid Father Moon says no shading.
Oh, God, I bet your father would even make the marriage service on
Oh,
pedestrian.
what are you? Writing a review of it too?
Forgive me, darling, it's an occupational disease. Be sure to tell your father not to wait up tonight.
I think tonight I'd better tell him to wait up.
I'll telephone when you'll publish the dance.
Nevertheless.
All right, everything formal and legal, but not later than next month.
Darling, I'll talk it over with Father and set the dates.
No, we'll have to see what's in rehearsal. There will be a lot of other first nights in October.
Hello, Mortimer.
How are you, Mr. President?
Bully, just bully. What news have you brought me?
Just this. The country is squarely behind you, Mr. President.
I know. Isn't it wonderful? Well, I must go.
Where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama!
Panama's the cellar. He digs logs for the canal down there.
So sweet with him, and he's very fond of you.
Well, Teddy always was my favorite brother.
Favorite? Were there more of you?
There's another brother, Jonathan.
Jonathan. Never heard of him. Your aunts never mentioned him.
We don't like to talk about Jonathan. He was the kind of boy that cut worms in a tube with his teeth.
What became of him?
I don't know. He wanted to become a surgeon, my grandfather, but wouldn't go to medical school first, and his practice got him into trouble.
Aren't you two going to be late for the theater?
Oh no, we're skipping dinner, so I won't have to start for half an hour.
Oh, well then I'll just leave you
No,
two.
don't bother, darling. I'm going over to speak to Father. Before I go out with you, he likes to pray over me a little bit. I'll be right back. I'll cut to the cemetery.
Well, if the prayer isn't too long, I'd have time to like you say distal once.
Mortimer, that's the first time I've ever heard you quote the Bible. When knew Elaine would be a good influence on you.
By the way, I'm going to marry her.
What? Oh, darling! Martha, come in here. I have the most wonderful news for you. Mortimer and Elaine are going to be married.
Married? Oh, Mortimer!
We hoped it would happen just like this.
Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world.
Happy? Just look at her leaping over those gravestones. Say, what's that?
What's what, dear?
That statue there. That's Rondina la Carnina.
I know you. That's Emma B. Stout ascending to heaven.
No, standing on Mrs. Stout's left ear. That bird. That's a red-crested spider. I've only seen one of those before in my life.
I don't understand how you can be thinking about a bird now, with Elaine and the engagement and everything.
It's a vanishing species. Thoreau was very fond of them. By the way, I left a very large envelope around here last week. It's one of my chapters of my book on Thoreau. Have you seen it?
No, but if you're here, it must be here somewhere.
What are your plans? When are you going to be married? There must be something more you can tell us about Elaine.
Elaine? Oh, Elaine thought it was brilliant.
What was here?
Now my chapter on Thoreau.
Well, when Elaine gets back, I think we ought to have a little celebration. We must drink to your happiness. Isn't there some of that Lady Baltimore cake left?
Oh, yes!
And I'll open a bottle of wine.
Oh, and to think it happened in this room.
Where could I have left that?
I do hope you hear something you can enjoy for once tonight, with your fiancé sitting beside you. Maybe something romantic. What was the name of it?
Murder will out.
Oh dear.
When the curtain goes up, first thing you'll see will be a dead body. Oh, Martha, Aunt Abby, come in here.
Yes, dear.
So, you were going to make plans for Teddy to go to that sanitarium, Happydale.
Yes, dear. Dr. Harper was here today to bring over the papers. Oh, here they are.
Yeah, Teddy has got to sign them right away.
Oh, there's no such hurry as that. No, when he starts working on the canal, you can't get his mind on anything else.
Teddy's down in the cellar, get him up here.
No, dear.
He's got to go there now, today.
Oh, that's not until after we're gone.
Right away, I'm telling you, right away.
Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? For as long as we live, we'll never be separated from Teddy.
I'm frightfully sorry, darlings, but I've got some shocking news. We've got to try and keep our heads. You know, we've sort of humored Teddy because we thought he was harmless.
Why, he is harmless.
No, he was harmless. That's why he has got to go to Happydale. Why he's got to be confined.
Mortimer, why have you suddenly turned against Teddy? Your own brother?
You might know sometime. Must as well be now. You see, Teddy's killed a man.
Nonsense, dear.
There's a body in the window seat.
Yes, dear, we know.
You know?
Of course we know. It has nothing to do with Teddy.
No, just forget about it. Forget you ever saw the gentleman.
Forget?
We never dreamed you'd peek.
But who is he?
His name's Hoskins. Adam Hoskins. That's all we really know about him. Except that he's a Methodist.
That's all you know about him? What's he doing here? What happened to him?
He died.
Martha. Men don't just get into window seats and die.
He died first.
Yeah, but how?
Mortimer, don't be so inquisitive. The gentleman died because he drank some wine with poison in it.
And how did the poison get into the wine?
Oh, we put it in the wine because it's less noticeable. When you put it in tea, it has a distinct odor.
You put it in the wine.
Yes, and I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Dr. Harper was coming over.
So you know what you've done. You just didn't want Dr. Harper to see the body.
Well, not at tea. That wouldn't have been very nice. Now, Mortimer, you know about the whole thing? Just forget about it. I do think Martha and I have the right to our own little secrets.
Oh, and don't you tell Elaine. Oh, Abby, while I was out, I dropped in on Mrs. Schultz. She wants us to take Junior to the movies.
We must do that tomorrow or the next day.
Yes, but this time we'll take him somewhere we want to go. I won't let him drag us to one of those scary pictures.
City desk. Hello, Al. Do you know who this is? Yeah, that's right. Say, Al, when I left the office, I told you where I was going, remember? Well, what did I say? That's right. Well, it would take me about half an hour to get to Brooklyn. What time have you got? That's right. I must be here. Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do about what, dear?
There's somebody in the window seat.
Yes, Mr. Hoskins.
Yeah, well, for God's sake, I can't turn you over to the police. What am I going to do?
Well, for one thing, dear, stop being so excited.
And for pity's sake, stop worrying. We told you to forget about the whole thing.
Can't I make you realize that something has to be done?
Mortimer, behave yourself. You're too old to be flying off the handle like this.
But Mr. Hoskins,
Hoskins, dear.
well, whatever his name is, you can't leave him in there.
Oh, we don't intend to, dear.
No, Teddy's down in the cellar right now, digging the lock.
Oh, you're going to bury him.
Yes, that's what we did with the others.
But you can't bury Mr. Others.
The other gentleman.
When you say others, you mean others. More than one others.
Yes, well, let me think. This is 11, isn't it, Abby?
No, dear. This makes 12.
I think you're wrong. This is 11.
No, because when Mr. Hoskins walked in, it occurred to me that he'd make just an even dozen.
Well, we can't really count the first one.
Oh, I was counting the first one.
Hello? Hello, oh, hello, Alma. It's good to hear your voice. Oh no, Al, I'm sober as a lock. I just called you because I was feeling a little pirandello. You wouldn't understand, Al. Luke, I'm glad you called. Get all of George right away. He's got to cover the play tonight. I can make it. No, Al, you're wrong. I'll explain all about it to you tomorrow. Well, George has got to cover the play tonight. This is my department and I'm running it. Well, you get a hold of George. Let's see, where were we? 12?
Yes, Abby thinks we have to count the first one.
So, who was the first one?
Mr. Ridgely. He was a Baptist. Of course, Martha thinks we can't count him because he died without any help from us. See, Mr. Ridgely came in here looking for a room, and it was right after you moved to New York. And it seemed so wrong for that lovely room to be going to waste when there were so many people who needed it.
He was such a lonely old man.
All his kith and kin were dead, and it left him so forlorn and unhappy.
We felt so sorry for him.
And then when his heart attack came, he said dead, right there, in that chair, looking so peaceful. Remember, Martha? We promised right then and there that if we could help other lonely old gentlemen to that same peace, we would.
The man walked in here and dropped right there. How awful for you.
Oh, no, it was rather like old times. Your grandfather always had a cadaver or two lying around the house. You see, Teddy had been digging the Panama locks in the cellar. So we just took him there. Teddy thought it was a yellow fever victim.
That meant he had to be buried immediately.
So we all took him down to Panama and buried him there. You see, that's why we told you not to worry about anything, because we know exactly what's to be done.
And that's how this all started. That man walking in here and dropping dead.
Well, of course we realized we couldn't count on that happening again. So...
You remember those jars that have been lying around the shelves of your grandfather's old lavatory?
And you know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. You've eaten enough of her piccalilli.
Well, for a gallon of elderberry wine, I take a teaspoon of arsenic, half a teaspoon of strychnine, and just a pinch of cyanide.
Should have quite a kick.
Oh, yes. One gentleman even found time to say how delicious.
Well, I really must see about supper.
I really wish you could stay for dinner.
I'm trying out a new recipe.
I couldn't eat a thing.
I feel so much better now. Oh, you have to wait for Elaine, don't you? How happy you must be. Well, dear, I'll leave you alone for your thoughts.
Oh, it's you.
Don't be cross, darling. Father could see that I was excited, so I told him about us, and that made it pretty hard to get away from him. But listen, darling, he's not going to wait up for me tonight.
So, you run along home and I'll call you up tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
You know I always call you up every day or two.
But we're going to a theater tonight.
No, we're not.
Well, why not?
Look, Elaine, something's come up.
What, darling? What do you mean? You lost your job.
No, I haven't lost my job. I'm just not covering that play tonight. Will you run along home?
But I've got to know what's happened. Suddenly you can tell me.
No, dear, I can't.
But if we're going to get married,
Married?
have you forgotten that not just 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
I did? Oh, well, yes, as far as I know, that's still on.
You can propose to me 1 minute and throw me out of the house the next.
I'm not throwing you out of the house. Will you get out of here?
Not until I've had some kind of explanation.
Elaine! Yeah, hello, Al? Oh, yeah, it's... Can you hold on a minute? Yeah, all right, it's important, but it can't wait a minute, can't it? All right, hold on. Look, Elaine, you're a sweet girl, and I love you. But I've got a lot of business on my mind right now, and I want you to go home and wait until I call you.
Don't try to be masterful.
Well, when we are married and I have problems to face, I hope you are less tedious and inspired.
And when we're married, if we're married, I hope I find you adequate.
Elaine! Hello, Al? Hello? Hello? Hello, Al? Hello?
That's the doorbell, dear, not the telephone. How do you do? Step in.
I understand you have a room to rent.
Yes, indeed. Why don't you step in?
Are you the lady of the house?
Yes, I'm Miss Brewster. And this is my sister, another Miss Brewster.
My name is Gibbs.
Oh, why don't you step in? I'm sorry, we were just setting the table for dinner.
Hello? Let me talk to Al again. City desk. Al, city desk! What? Oh, wrong number, sorry.
May I see the room?
Well, why don't you sit down first and let's get acquainted?
I'm afraid that won't be very helpful if I don't like the room.
Is Brooklyn your home?
Don't have a home, live in a hotel, don't like it.
Hello, city desk?
Are your family broken people?
Don't have any family.
All alone in the world?
Yeah?
Well, Martha, it seems that you've come to just the right house.
Hello, Al. Maud, we got cut off, Al. I can't go to the play tonight. That's all there is to it, I can't.
What church do you go to? There's an Episcopal church right next door.
Presbyterian, used to be.
What church are you in Bermuda? Well, certainly I told him he could go to Bermuda. It's my department, isn't it? Well, you've got to get somebody, Al. Who else is around the office?
Is there always this much noise?
Oh, he doesn't know with us.
Yeah, there must be somebody around the place. Look, Al, how about the office boy? The one we don't like. The bright one. Well, you look around the office and I'll hold on.
I'd really like to see the room now.
It's upstairs. But first just try a glass of our wine before we get started.
Oh, never touch it.
It's elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine. Haven't had elderberry wine since I was a boy. Thank you.
Well, there must be some printers around. Look, Al, the fellow who sets my copy, he ought to know about what I'd write. His name is Joe. He's the third machine from the left. But Al, he might turn out to be another burnt mantle.
Do you have your own elderberry bushes?
No, but the cemetery's full of them.
No, I'm not drinking, but I'm going to start now.
Do you serve meals?
We might, but first just have a glass of our wine.
Mortimer!
Mortimer, not that.
Oh! Ah! Get out of here! Get out of here now! You know what you're doing? You want to be killed? You want to be poisoned? You want to be murdered?
Now you've ruined everything!
You can't do things like that. I don't know how to explain this to you. It's not only against the law, it's wrong. It's not a nice thing to do. People wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand.
Abby, I don't think we should have told Mortimer.
What I'm trying to say is that this has developed into a very bad habit.
Mortimer, we don't try to stop you from doing things you like to do. So I don't see why you would interfere with us.
Hello? Yeah, all right. I'll see the first act and I'll plan the hell out of it. But look, Al, you've got to do something for me. Get hold of O'Brien, our lawyer, the head of our legal department. Have him meet me at the theater. Now, don't let me down. Okay, I'm going to start now. Look, I've got to go to the theater. Can't get out of it. But before I go, will you promise me something?
Well, we'd have to know what it was first.
You know, I love you very much. And I know you love me. You know, I would do anything in the world for me. And I want you to do just this little thing.
What?
Don't do anything. I mean, don't do anything. Don't let anyone into this house and let Mr. Hoskins right where he is.
Why?
Oh, I need time to think. And I've got quite a bit to think about. You see, I wouldn't want anything to happen to you.
Well, what could happen to us?
Oh, anyway, you would do this for me, won't you?
Well, we were planning on holding the funeral services before dinner.
Services?
Why, certainly. You don't think we'd bury Mr. Hoskins without a full Methodist service, do you? Why, he was a Methodist.
Yeah, but can that wait until I get back?
Why, yes, then you could join.
Yes, yes.
Mortimer, you really enjoy the services, especially the hymns. Remember, Martha, how beautifully Mortimer used to sing before his voice changed?
Yeah, and remember, you're not going to let anyone into this house before I'm gone?
Well,
It's a promise.
Martha, I guess we can do that now that Mortimer's cooperating with us. Well, all right, Mortimer.
Have you got some paper for me? There is a man I need to see. I'll be back just as soon as I can.
Here's some stationery. Will this do?
Oh yeah, that'll be fine. I can save time if I Wagner or Fuel on the way to the theater.
Mortimer did seem quite himself today.
That's only natural. I think I know why.
Why?
Well, he's just become engaged to be married. I think that always makes a man nervous.
Well, I'm so happy for him and Elaine. This honeymoon ought to give them a real vacation. I don't think Mortimer got much rest this summer.
Well, at least he didn't go kiting off to China or Spain.
Yes, I never understood why he wanted to go to those places.
Well, I think to Mortimer, the theater has always seemed pretty small potatoes. He needs something bigger to criticize, something like the human race.
Hey, I was thinking, if Mortimer's going to be here for the hymnals, for the services, we need another hymnal. I have one in my room.
Oh, no. It's actually my turn to read the services. But since you weren't here when Mr. Hoskins came in, I think you should do it.
That's so nice of you. Are you sure?
It's only fair.
Oh, I'll wear my black bonbons in my mother's old brooch. What do you suppose that is? We promised Mortimer we wouldn't let anyone in. Let me see.
Who is it?
I don't know. I've never seen them before. They're strangers. But there's a car at the curb. They must have come in that.
Let me look.
Did you recognize them?
They're strangers to me.
Well, we'll just have to pretend we're not home.
Come in, Doctor. As a boy, I couldn't wait to escape from this place. Now I'm glad to escape back into it.
Yeah, it's a fine hideout.
The family must still live here. There's something unmistakably Brewster about the Brewsters. I hope there's a feathered calf awaiting the return of the prodigal.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Hey, Luke, Johnny, drinks.
A good omen.
Who are you?
Were expected.
What are you doing here?
Well, Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha. It's your nephew, Jonathan.
No, you're not, Jonathan. You're nothing like him. So don't pretend you are. You just get out of here.
But I am Jonathan. And this is Dr. Einstein.
And he's not Dr. Einstein either.
Not Dr. Albert Einstein, Dr. Herman Einstein.
Who are you? You're not our nephew, Jonathan.
I see you're still wearing the lovely garnet ring that Grandmother Brewster bought in England. You, Aunt Martha. Still the high color to hide the scar of grandfather's acid burned you.
His voice is like Jonathan's.
Have you been in an accident?
My face, Dr. Einstein is responsible for that. He's a plastic surgeon. He changes people's faces.
That face. I've seen it before. Remember when we went to the movies with little Junior and I was so frightened? It was that face.
Now, ladies, the last 5 years I give Johnny 3 new faces, and I'm gonna give him another one right away. This last face, well, I saw that picture too just before operate, and I was intoxicated.
You see, Doctor? You see what you've done to me? Not even my own family.
Now, Johnny, please, you're home in this lovely house. How often he tells me about Brooklyn, about this house, about his aunt that he loves so much. They know it's Johnny. You know it's Jonathan. Speak to him. Tell him so.
Well, Jonathan, it's been a few years. What have you been up to all this time?
Yes, Jonathan, where have you been?
Well, England, South Africa, Australia, the last 5 years in Chicago. Dr. Einstein and I were in business together.
Oh, we were in Chicago for the World's Fair.
We found Chicago awfully warm.
Yeah, it got hot for us too.
Well, aunties, it's lovely to be home again. You don't look a day older, just as I remember you, sweet, charming, hospitable. And dear Teddy, did he get into politics? My dear brother, Doctor, was determined to become president.
Oh, Teddy's fine, just fine, and Mortimer's well too.
I've heard about Mortimer. I've seen his picture at the head of his column. He's evidently fulfilled all the promises of his early nasty nature.
We're very fond of Mortimer.
Well, Jonathan, it's been nice to have seen you again.
Bless you, Aunt Martha. It's good to be home again.
Well, we mustn't let what's on the stove boil over.
If you'll excuse us for a minute. Unless you're in a hurry to go somewhere?
Now, Johnny, where do we go from here? We gotta think fast. The police have pictures of that face. I gotta operate on you right away. So we gotta find some place for that. And we gotta find some place for Mr. Spinello too.
Don't waste any worry on that rat.
Johnny, you can't just leave a dead body in the rumble seats.
Forget about Mr. Spinalzo.
Johnny, you shouldn't have killed him. He's a nice fella. He gives us a lift, and then what happens?
He said I looked like Frankenstein's monster, and that is your responsibility, Doctor. You did that to me.
Now, Johnny, we find a place somewhere. I'd fix you up quick.
Tonight.
But not tonight, Johnny. I'm tired and I'm hungry.
Jonathan, it's nice that you remembered us and took the time to come in and say hello. But the truth is that you were never happy in this house, and we were never happy while you were in it. So we've just come to say goodbye.
Aunt Abby, I can't say your feelings towards me come as a surprise. As a matter of fact, I spent a great many hours regretting the heartaches I must have given you as a boy.
You were quite a trial to us, Jonathan.
But my great disappointment is for Dr. Einstein. I told him no matter how rushed we would be into passing through Brooklyn, I'd take the time to bring him here for one of Aunt Martha's home-cooked dinners.
Oh, I'm afraid there wouldn't be enough.
Well, it's pretty good sized pot.
Pot roast.
The least we can do is.
Yes, we'll stay for dinner.
Well then, we'll just hurry it along.
Yes.
Oh, Jonathan, if you'd like to freshen up, why don't you use the washroom in Grandfather's old laboratory?
Is that still there?
Just as it was. Now I'll go help Martha. We're all in a hurry.
Well, we get a meal anyway.
The old laboratory, Doctor. And just as it was. A perfect operating room.
Too bad we can't use it.
When we get settled here, why, we can make a fortune here. The old laboratory and the grand ward in the attic. 10 beds, Doctor. And Brooklyn is crying for your talents.
Why work yourself up, Jenny? Anyway, for Brooklyn, I think we're a year too late.
You don't know this town, Doctor. Practically everybody in Brooklyn needs a new face.
Yeah, but so many of the old faces are locked up.
Just a very small percentage. And the boys in Brooklyn are famous for paying generously to stay out of jail.
Now, Johnny, your aunts, they don't want us here.
We're here for dinner, aren't we?
Yeah, but after dinner?
Leave it up to me. I'll handle it. We'll make this house our headquarters for years.
Now, that'd be beautiful, Johnny. This nice, quiet house. And those aunts of yours, such sweet ladies. I love them already. I'll go get to them. Yeah?
Doctor, we must wait until we're invited.
But you just said
We'll
that.
be invited.
And if we're not?
Doctor, 2 helpless old women.
Well, it's like a beautiful dream coming true. Only I hope you're not dreaming. It's so peaceful here.
That's what makes it so perfect for us. It's so peaceful. Yes, aunties, those 5 years in Chicago were amongst the happiest and the busiest of my life.
And then from Chicago, we go to South Bend, Indiana.
They wouldn't be interested in our experience in Indiana.
Well, Jonathan, you've led a very interesting life, I'm sure. But we really shouldn't have let you talk so late.
My meeting Dr. Einstein in London, I might say, changed the entire course of my life. You see, I had been in the diamond business in South Africa, then the diamond market in Amsterdam. I wanted to go back to South Africa, and Dr. Einstein here made that possible for me.
It was a good job, Johnny. When we take off the bandages, his face looks so different, the nurse had to introduce me.
I love that face. I still carry around a picture with me.
This looks more the way you used to look, but I still wouldn't know you.
I think we'll go back to that face, Doctor.
Yeah, it's safe now.
Well, I'm sure you two must get to where you were going.
Hans, I'm so full of that delicious dinner of yours, I'm unable to move a muscle.
Yeah, it's nice here.
After all, it's very late and...
I found it! I found it!
What did you find, Teddy?
The story of my life, my biography. Here's the picture I was telling you about, General. General Goethals and President Roosevelt and Khalifa cut. That's me, General, and that's you.
My, how I've changed.
Well, you see, that picture hasn't been taken yet. We're still digging rocks. And that's why you and I will go to Panama on an investigation on the new rock.
No, Teddy, not Panama.
Panama's a long way off. We go some other time.
Nonsense! It's just down in the cellar.
The cellar.
We let him dig the Panama Canal in the cellar.
General Goethals, as President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, and the man who gave you that job, I commend you to accompany me on the locks.
Teddy, I think it's time you went to bed.
I beg your pardon? Who are you?
I'm Woodrow Wilson, now go to bed.
No, you're not Wilson. But your face looks familiar. You're not someone I know now, but perhaps later. Oh, on my hunting trip to Africa. Yeah, you look like someone I would meet in the jungle.
It's your brother Jonathan, dear.
He's had his face changed.
That's it. A nature faker.
Perhaps it's better if you go to bed, Teddy. Jonathan and his friend need to get to their hotel.
General Goethals, inspect the canal.
Well, Mr. President, let's go to Panama.
Bully! Just bully! Follow me, General! It's down south, you know?
Well, bon voyage.
Aunt Abby, I must correct your misapprehension. You spoke of a hotel. We have no hotel. We came directly here.
Oh, there's a very nice...
Amanda, this is my home.
No, Jonathan, you can't stay here. I'm afraid there won't be enough room.
You need your rooms.
For our lodgers,
Are there lodgers in this house?
Well, not right now, but we
Then
could...
my old room is still free.
but there wouldn't be any space for Dr. Einstein.
He'll share a room with me.
No, Jonathan, I'm afraid you can't stay here.
Dr. Einstein and I need a place to sleep. You just remember that as a boy I could be quite disagreeable. It would not be very pleasant for
Well,
any...
perhaps we should let
Yes, we'll stay.
him. Just tonight.
Now, have you got our room ready?
It just needs airing out.
We keep it ready to show our lodgers. I'm sure you and Dr. Einstein will find it quite comfortable.
You'll find the most distinguished guest in Dr. Einstein. I'm afraid you don't yet appreciate his skill, but you will. In a few weeks, you'll see me looking like a totally different Jonathan.
You can't operate on you here.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. We're turning grandfather's old laboratory into an operating room. We expect to be quite busy.
You can't turn this house into a hospital.
A hospital? Heavens no. It will be a beauty parlor.
Hey, Judy, down in the cellar?
Dr. Einstein! My dear aunts have invited us to live with them.
Oh, you fixed it.
Well, you're sleeping here tonight.
Now, get our rooms ready.
For tonight.
Johnny, when I go down the cellar, what do you think I find?
What?
The Panama Canal.
The Panama Canal.
It just fits Mr. Spinelza. It's a whole teddy duck. 6 feet long, 4 feet wide.
Down there.
You'd think they knew we were bringing Mr. Spinelza along, and now that's hospitality.
Rather a good joke of my aunts. Them living in a house with a body buried down in their cellar.
Yeah, but how do we get him in?
We can't just walk him through the door.
Jonathan,
We'll drive the car. No. Yes.
your room is ready.
Okay, then you can go to bed and have a pleasant night's sleep. We're driving up the car between the house.
It's alright where it is, until morning.
I don't want to leave it in the street. It might be against the law.
do? Well, we're not going to let them stay longer than one night in this house for one thing. What would the neighbors think? People coming out with one face and going out with another?
But what are we going to do about Mr. Hoskins?
That's right, Mr. Hoskins. He's been so patient, the poor dear. It can't be very comfortable for him in there. We must ask Teddy to take him to Panama right away.
I will not invite Jonathan to our funeral services.
Oh no, we'll wait until they've gone to bed, then we'll come down and then we'll hold the services.
General Goethals was very pleased. He said the canal is just the right size.
Teddy, there's been another yellow fever victim.
Dear me, that's going to be a shock to the general.
Then we mustn't tell him.
But it's his department.
No, Teddy, we mustn't tell him about it. It would just spoil his visit.
No, Aunt Abby, I'm sorry. It's out of my hands. Army regulations, he'll have to be told.
No, Teddy, we must keep it a secret.
A state secret?
Yes.
A state secret.
Promise?
You have the word of the President of the United States. Cross my heart and hope to die. Now let's see. How are we going to keep it a secret?
Well, you go back down in the cellar, and when I turn off the lights, when it's all dark, you come up and take the poor man down to the cellar, the canal.
And then, while they're asleep, we'll all hold the funeral services.
You may announce the President. We'll say a few words. Where's that poor devil?
In the window seat.
It seems to be spreading. We've never had yellow fever there before.
This is perfect.
While everyone's going to be asleep, we'll be dressed and ready for the funeral.
Martha, when they come back, let's try to make them go to bed right away.
Okay. I've never even seen Mr. Hoskins.
That's right. You were out. Well, you just come over and see him right now. He's really very nice looking, considering he's a Methodist.
We're bringing a lot of straw here.
Jonathan, your room is all ready. You can go right up.
Then you can go to bed and have a pleasant night's sleep.
We don't go to bed this early, and you must...
You should. It's time I came home and took care of you.
We weren't planning to go until...
Did you hear me say, go to bed? Doctor, the instruments can go into the laboratory in the morning. Then we'll all go to bed.
I'll just stay right here and turn off the lights when you're up.
Turn them off now.
All right.
Okay, doctor. You go around the house and hand Mr. Spinozzo in through the window.
No, he's too heavy for me. You go out there and push, and I'll stay here and pull. And then together, we get it down to Panama.
Okay, I'll take a look around outside. When I tap on the glass, you open the window.
Who left it open? Don't go. Lay up. Oh, yeah. No, wait a minute. You lost the leg somewhere. Yeah. Now I got it. That was me, Johnny. I slipped.
Be more careful.
Well, his shoe came off. There's someone at the door. I'll manage here. No, you sit there. Go quick. I'll manage here.
Miss Abby? Miss Martha? Miss Abby? Miss Martha? Who is it? Is that you, Teddy? Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Elaine Harper. I live next door.
Then what are you doing here?
I came over to see Miss Abby and Miss Martha.
Doctor, turn on the lights. You chose a rather untimely moment for a social call.
I think you'd better explain what you are doing here.
We happen to live here.
You don't live here. I come here every day and I've never seen you before. Where are Miss Abby and Miss Martha? What have you done to them?
Perhaps we better introduce ourselves. This is Dr. Einstein,
Dr. Einstein.
a surgeon of great distinction.
And I suppose you're going to tell me you're Frankenstein.
I'm Jonathan.
Oh, you're Jonathan.
I see you've heard of me.
Yeah, just this afternoon for the first time. Just as there was another brother named Jonathan. Well, that explains everything. Now that I know who you are, I'll be running along back home. If you'll kindly unlock the door.
That just explains everything. What do you mean by that? Why did you come here at this time of the night?
I thought someone prowling around the house.
You thought you saw someone prowling around the house.
Yes? Wasn't that you? Wasn't that your car?
You thought you saw someone at the car.
Yes?
What else did you see?
Just someone going around the house to the car.
What else did you see?
Just that, that's all, that's why I came over here. I wanted to tell Miss Abby to call the police. But if it was you and that was your car, I don't need to bother Miss Abby. I'll be running along back home.
What was the man doing at the car?
No, you see, I was on my way over here.
I think you're lying.
I think she tells the truth. So we let her go now, huh?
I think she's lying. Breaking and entering in a house at this time of the night. She could be dangerous. She shouldn't be allowed around loose.
Take your hands off me, Miss Abby! Miss Martha! Glad to be at Teddy, tell this man who I am.
That's my daughter Alice!
No, Teddy, no! Miss Abby, Miss Martha!
Okay, don't shut him, don't shut him.
What's the matter? What's happening down here?
What's the matter? What? A sneak thief. Now go back to your rooms.
We'll call the police.
No, we've called the police. We'll handle this.
Mortimer, where have you been?
To the Nora Base Theater. And I should have known better. Oh my god, I'm still there.
This is your brother, Jonathan, and this is Dr. Einstein.
I know this isn't a nightmare, but what is it?
I've come back home, Mortimer.
Who did you say this was?
It's your brother, Jonathan. He's had his face changed. Dr. Einstein performed the operation.
Jonathan. Jonathan, you always were a horror. Do you have to look like one?
Easy, Johnny, easy.
Mortimer, have you forgotten the things I used to do to you when we were little boys? Remember the time you were tied down to the bedpost with those needles under your fingernails?
Oh my god, it is Jonathan! and yes, I remember. I remember you as the most detestable, vicious, venomous form of animal life I ever knew.
Now don't you two start quarreling again the minute you see each other.
There won't be any fight, Aunt Abby. Jonathan, you're not wanted here. Get out!
Dr. Einstein and I have been invited to stay.
Not in this house.
Well, just for tonight.
I don't want anyone near me.
Well, we invited them over for tonight, and it wouldn't be very nice to go back on our word.
All right, tonight. But first thing in the morning, out. Where are they sleeping?
We put them in Jonathan's old room.
Oh, but that's my old room. I'm sleeping in that room. I'm here to stay.
Oh, Mortimer, I'm so glad.
Johnny, we sleep down here.
You bet your life you sleep down here.
Yeah, you sleep on the sofa, and I'll sleep on the window seat.
The window seat? Oh, well, let's not argue about it. I'll sleep on the window seat. That will be good enough.
Johnny, all this argument makes me think of Mr. Spinelzo.
Spinalzo? Now, Mortimer, it really is not necessary to inconvenience you like this. We'll sleep down here.
Your sudden consideration for me is very unconvincing, Jonathan.
We'll go get the things out of the room, eh?
Don't you bother, Doctor.
By the way, Doctor, I've completely lost track of Mr. Spinalzo.
Who's this, Mr. Spinalzo?
Just a friend of ours Johnny's been looking for.
Well, don't let anybody into this house.
Come on, Johnny. When we're back, I'll tell you all about it.
Mortimer, you really don't need to sleep down here. I can go in with Martha and you can take my room.
No trouble, Adele. We'll be packed in a few minutes. Mortimer, you'll have the room.
You're wasting your time. I told you I'm sleeping down here.
Mortimer,
What's the matter with you, dear?
I've almost been killed.
You've almost you what? Abby, Martha!
No, it was Jonathan. No, it was more than that. He's some kind of maniac. Mortimer, I'm afraid of him.
Oh, darling, you're trembling. Have you got any smelling salts?
No, but some hot tea or coffee?
Yeah, coffee. Make some for me too.
I'll
And,
make
and
some.
some sandwiches, please. I haven't had any dinner.
I'll make some for the both.
We can leave our veils downstairs.
Yes.
You weren't going somewhere, were you? You know what time it is? It's after 12. 12? Ellen, you've got to go home.
What?
Look, I...
Why don't you remember? We were going to celebrate your engagement. We'll open a bottle of wine.
All right. No wine.
What is wrong in this house?
What do you mean, what's wrong in this house?
You were supposed to take me to dinner in the theater tonight. You called it off. You asked me to marry you. I said I would. And 5 minutes later, you threw me out of the house. Tonight, just after your brother tries to strangle me, you want to chase me home? Now listen, Mr. Brewster. Before I go home, I want to know where I stand. Do you love me?
Elaine, I love you very much. In fact, I love you so much I can't marry you.
Have you suddenly going crazy?
No, I don't think so, but it's just a matter of time. You see, insanity runs in my family. It practically gallops.
You've got to do better than that.
No, there is a strange taint in the Brewster blood. If you really knew my family well, it's what you'd expect if Strindberg had written Hell's a Pumpkin.
Mortimer, just because Teddy is a little bit...
No, it goes way back. The first Brewster, the one who came over on the Mayflower. You know, in those days, the Indians used to scalp the settlers. He used to scalp the Indians.
Mortimer, that's ancient history.
No, the whole family. Take my grandfather. He used to try his patent medicines out on dead people to be sure he wouldn't kill them.
Mortimer, he wasn't so crazy. He made $1 million.
And there is Jonathan. You just said he was a maniac. He tried to kill you.
But he's your brother, not you. I'm in love with you.
And there's Teddy too. You know Teddy. Teddy thinks he's Roosevelt. No, dear, no Brewster should marry. I realize now that if I'd met my father in time, I would have stopped him.
But all this doesn't prove you're crazy. Look at your aunts. They're Brewsters, aren't they? And the sweetest, sanest people I've ever known.
Well, even they have their peculiarities.
Oh, but what lovely peculiarities. Human sympathy, kindness, generosity.
There's another one!
Oh, look, plenty of others. You can't tell me anything about your aunts.
No, and I'm not going to. Look, Elaine, you've got to run along home.
But what's the matter?
Look, Elaine, something very important has just come up.
What? From where? We're here alone together.
I know I'm acting irrationally, but just put it down to the fact that I'm a mad Brewster.
Listen, if you think you're going to get out of this by pretending you're crazy, you're insane. Maybe you're not going to marry me, but I'm going to marry you.
Well, if you love me, will you get the hell out of here?
Well, at least walk me home, won't you? I'm afraid.
A little walk through the cemetery?
Oh, you quit it?
Aunt Martha, Aunt Abby, come in here.
We'll be in a minute, dear.
Now come in here now.
Yes, dear, what is it? Where's Elaine?
I thought you told me not to let anyone into this house while I was gone.
Well, Jonathan just walked in.
I don't mean Jonathan.
And Dr. Einstein
I
went...
don't mean Dr. Einstein. Who is that in the window seat?
We told you, Mr. Hoskins.
It's not Mr. Hoskins.
Who can that be?
Aunt Abby, you're not trying to tell me you've never seen this man before?
I certainly am. But this is a fine how do you do. It's come so that anybody thinks they can just walk into this house.
Now don't you try to get out of this. There's another one of your gentlemen.
Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? That man's an imposter. And if he's here to be buried in our cellar, he's mistaken.
But you admitted that you put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat.
Yes, I did.
Well, this man couldn't have just gotten the idea from Mr. Hoskins. By the way, where is Mr. Hoskins?
He must have gone to Panama.
Oh, you buried him.
Oh, no, not yet. He's just down there waiting for the services, the poor dear. We haven't had a minute, what with Jonathan in the house. Oh dear. We've always wanted to hold a double funeral. But I will not read services over a total stranger.
A stranger? Now, how can I believe you? There are 12 men down in the cellar and you admit you poisoned them.
Yes, I did. But you don't think I'd stoop to telling a fib. Martha!
Mortimer, I'd like to have a word with you.
Now, what's about all you have time for, Jonathan? Because I've decided that you and your doctor friend are going to have to get out of this place just as quickly as possible.
I'm very glad you recognize the fact that you and I cannot live on the same roof together. But you've reached the wrong solution. Now get your suitcase and get out.
You're beginning to bore me, Jonathan. You've played your one-night stand in Brooklyn. Now move on.
Monoman, just because you have graduated from the deck pen to the typewriter doesn't mean you've grown up. Now I'm staying, and you're leaving, and I mean now.
Well, if you think I can be frightened, if you think there is anything I fear.
I've lived a strange life, Mortimer, but it has taught me one thing, to be afraid of nothing.
Martha, just look and see what's in the window.
No,
Abby! Jonathan! No, Martha, what's in the window, see? Aunt Abby, I owe you an apology. I've got very good news for you. Jonathan is going. And he's taking Dr. Einstein and their cult companion with him. Jonathan, you're my brother. You're a Brewster. I'm going to give you one fat chance to get out of this place and take the evidence. You can't ask for more than that. Very well, in that case I'll have to call the police.
Don't reach for that telephone. Are you still giving me orders after you've seen what happened to Mr. Spinaldo?
Spinaldo? I knew he was a foreigner.
Remember, what happened to Mr. Spinaldo can happen to you.
Officer O'Hara!
Hello, Miss Abby.
What can we do for you?
I saw your lights on. I thought there might be sickness in the house. Oh, you got company. I'm sorry I disturbed you.
Oh no, come in.
Yes, come in.
Come right in, Officer O'Hara.
This is our nephew, Mortimer.
Nice to meet you.
And this is another nephew, Jonathan.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. Well, it must be nice having your nephews visiting you. Are they going to stay with you for a bit?
I'm staying. My brother Jonathan was just leaving.
Met you before, haven't
I'm afraid that Jonathan hasn't been home for years.
I? Your face looks familiar to me. Maybe I've seen a picture of you somewhere.
I don't think so.
Yes, I'd hurry if I were you. Your things are all packed anyway, aren't they?
Well, you'll be wanting to say your goodbyes. I'll be running along.
What's the rush, O'Hara? I'd like to have you stick around until my brother goes.
Oh, I just dropped in to make sure everything was all right.
Oh, we're not going to have a cup of coffee in a minute. Won't you join us?
Oh, I forgot the coffee.
I'll just make some more sandwiches. I do know your appetite by this.
Don't bother. I'm due to ring in a few minutes.
Oh, O'Hara, you can join us for a cup of coffee. My brother will be guns. Sit down.
Say, ain't I seen a photograph of your brother around here someplace?
Oh, I don't think so.
He certainly reminds me of somebody.
Well, he might look like someone you've probably seen in the movie.
Oh, I never go to the movies. I hate them. My mother says the movies is a bastard art.
Oh, yes, it's full of them. Your mother says that.
Yeah, my mother was an actress, stage actress. Perhaps you heard of her. Peaches Latour.
Sounds like a name I've probably seen on a program. What did you play?
Well, her big hit was Mutt and Jeff. Played it for 3 years. I was born on tour the 3rd season.
You were?
Yeah, Sioux City, Iowa. I was born in the dressing room at the end of the 2nd act. And Mother made the finale.
What a trooper. I bet there must be a good story in your mother. You know, I write about a theater.
You do? Say, you're not Mortimer Brewster, the dramatic critic.
Yes, I am.
Well, I certainly am glad to meet you. Say, Mr. Brewster, we're in the same line of business.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, I'm a playwright. This being on the police force is just temporary.
How long have you been on the force?
12 years. I'm collecting material for a play.
Oh, I'll bet it's honey.
Well, it ought to be, with all the drama I see being a cop. Mr. Brewster, you got no idea what goes on in Brooklyn.
I think I have.
Say, what time you got?
10 after 1.
Gee, I gotta ring in.
Oh, Hara, on that play of yours, I might be able to help you.
You would? Say it was my fate walking in here tonight. Look, I'll tell you the plot.
You're on your way, yeah? Good. Haven't got much time, you know.
Well, everything's just about ready. Oh, you're leaving now, Jonathan. Goodbye. Goodbye, Dr. Einstein. Doesn't this case belong to you?
Oh, yes, Jonathan. You can't go without everything, you see. Look, O'Hara, what's nice seeing you. We'll meet again and we'll talk about your play.
Well, I'm not leaving now, Mr. Brewster.
Why not?
Well, you just offered to help me with my play, didn't you? You and me are gonna write my play together.
Oh, I can't do that, O'Hara. I'm not a creative writer.
I'll do the creating. You just put the words to it.
But O'Hara...
No, sir, Mr. Brewster. I ain't leaving this house until I tell you the plot.
In that case, Mortimer, we'll be running along.
No, don't you try that. You can't go yet. You've got to take everything with you. O'Hara, you go ring in now, eh? My brother is just leaving.
I can wait. Been waiting 12 years.
I'm sorry I was so
Oh,
long.
don't bring that in here. O'Hara, won't you join us for a bite in the kitchen?
The kitchen?
Jonathan's leaving.
Oh, well, that's nice. Come along.
I'm sure you don't mind eating in the kitchen.
Where else would you eat?
Goodbye, Jonathan. It was nice seeing you again.
Yes, I'm glad you came back to Brooklyn. Because it gives me a chance to throw you out. And the first one out is your boyfriend, Mr. Spinalzo.
Look, Mr. Brewster, we can talk in there.
Coming right out.
I might have known you'd grow up to write a play with a policeman.
I'll get going now, all three of you.
Now, Doctor, this affair between my brother and me has got to be settled.
Now, Johnny, your brother gives us a chance to get away. What more could you ask for?
You don't understand, Doctor. This goes back a good many years.
Oh, Johnny, let's get going.
No, we're staying right here tonight.
With a cop in the kitchen and Mr. Spinalzo in the window.
That's all he's got on us. We'll take Mr. Spinalzo down. We'll dump him in the bay. Then we come right up. And if he tries to interfere, then...
Now, Johnny,
Doctor, you know when I make up my mind...
yes, when you make up your mind, you lose your head. Brooklyn ain't a good place for you.
Doctor!
Okay, we gotta stick together. Someday we get stuck together. When we get back here, do we get to take these with us?
Hide them in the cellar. Now, we've got to move fast. Spinalzo can go out the same way he came in.
Hey, Johnny, you know that hole in the cellar?
Yes.
We got an ace in the hole. Come on, I show you.
Jonathan! Jonathan! Jonathan!
Yes, Mortimer.
I thought I told you to get going.
We're not going.
You're not? You think I'm not serious about this? You want O'Hara to know what's in the window seat?
We're staying right here tonight.
Very well, in that case I'll get rid of you and O'Hara at the same time.
If you tell O'Hara what's in the window seat, I will tell him what's down in the cellar.
O'Hara, come in here. The cellar?
There's an elderly gentleman there who seems to be very dead.
What were you two doing down in the cellar?
What's he doing down in the cellar?
No thanks, ma'am. They were fine. I've had plenty.
Now, what did you want to tell O'Hara?
Say, Mr. Brewster, your aunts want to hear it too. Shall I get him in here?
Not now, O'Hara. You've got to ring in.
The hell with ringing. Look, I'll get your aunts in here and tell you the plot.
No, O'Hara, we can't do that here in front of all of these people. We'll meet together alone, someplace later.
How about the back room at Kelly's?
Fine. We'll meet at Kelly's, and you're going to ring in on the way.
Why don't you two gentlemen go down in the cellar?
That's all right with me. Is that the cellar?
No, we'll meet at Kelly's, and you're going to ring in now.
All right, that'll only take me a couple minutes.
I'll ditch this guy, and when I'm back, I'll expect to find you gone. Wait for me.
We'll wait for him, Doctor. I've waited a great many years for a chance.
Did he look guilty? We got him right where we want him.
Now, Doctor, take the bags upstairs.
Have they gone?
Just Mortimer, and
Oh.
you'll be back.
Oh, we thought we heard someone leave.
Now, is there still food left in the kitchen? I think Dr. Eins and I would enjoy a bite.
But you won't have time. No, if you're still here when Mortimer gets back, he won't like it.
Oh, he'll like it. He's gotta like it.
Now, get us something to eat while we bury Mr. Spinalzo in his cellar.
Oh no! No, Jonathan, you can't bury Mr. Spinalzo in our cellar.
There's a friend of Mortimer's downstairs waiting for him.
A friend of Mortimer's?
He and Mr. Spinalzo are both dead. They will get along fine together.
They must be Mr. Hoskins.
Mr. Hoskins?
You know about what's downstairs.
Of course we do. And he's no friend of Mortimer's. He's one of our gentlemen.
Your gentleman?
And we won't have any strangers buried in our cellar.
Besides, the cellar's crowded already.
Crowded? With what?
There are 12 graves down there now.
12 graves!
That leaves very little room, and we're going to need it.
You mean that you and Aunt Martha have murdered all the...
Murdered? Certainly not. It's one of our charities.
Why, what we've been doing is a mercy.
So you just take your Mr. Spinalzo out of here.
You've done that here, inside of this house, and you buried them down there.
Johnny, we've been chased all over the world, and they stay right here in Brooklyn, and they do just as good as you do.
What?
Well, Dave got 12, and you've got 12.
I've got 13.
No, Johnny, 12.
13. There is Mr. Spinalzo. There's the first one in London. There is 2 in Johannesburg. There's 1 in Melbourne. There's 1 in Sydney. There is 2 in San Francisco. There is 1 in Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix?
In the filling station. Then there is 2 in San Francisco, and then there is 2 in Chicago.
That makes still 12. That still makes 11.
That makes 13.
Well, no, Johnny. That's 12.
That makes 13.
No, Johnny. You've got 12. And they've got 12. The old ladies are just as good as you are.
Are they? Well, in that case, all we need is 1 more. Just 1 more.
Well, here I am.
You stop doing that!
This is our house and this is our cellar. You can't do that.
There is no use you doing what you're doing because it will just have to be undone!
I'm telling you, we won't have it, and you better stop it right now.
Alright, you'll find out! You'll find out whose house this is!
I'm warning you. You better stop it. Hasn't Mortimer come back yet? No. It's a terrible thing to do. To bury a good Methodist with a foreigner.
I won't have her cellar desecrated!
And we promised Mr. Hoskins a full Christian funeral. Where do you suppose Mortimer went?
I don't know, but he must be doing something because he told Jonathan,
You just wait. I'll settle this. Well, he can't very well settle it while he's out of the house. And that's all we want settled. What's going on down there?
All right, now, where's Teddy?
Mortimer, where have you been?
I've been over to Dr. Galchrist. I've got his signature. Teddy's commitment papers.
Mortimer, what's the matter with you?
Running around getting papers signed at a time like this?
Do you know what Jonathan's doing down there?
He's putting Mr. Hoskins and Mr. Spinazzo in together.
Yeah, he is he? Well, let him. Is Teddy in his room?
Tell you what, Penny, help.
When Teddy signs these papers, I can tackle Jonathan.
Mortimer,
Yeah, you have to go and tell Jonathan about those 12 graves. If I can make Teddy responsible for those, I can protect you. Don't you see?
no, I don't see. And we pay taxes to have the police protect us.
I'll be right down in a minute.
We're going for the police.
All right, the police. You cannot go for the police.
Why can't we?
Because if you tell the police about Mrs. Spinalso, they find out about Mr. Hoskins too. That might make them curious. And then they find out about the other 12 gentlemen.
Mortimer, we know the police better than you do. And I don't think they'd be prying to our private affairs if we asked them not to.
If they found the other 12 gentlemen, they would have to report to headquarters.
Oh, I'm not sure they'd bother. They have to write a very long report. And if there's one thing the police hates to do, it's to write.
Well, you can depend on that. It might leak out. You couldn't expect the judge and jury to understand.
Oh, Judge Coleman would.
We know him very well.
He always comes to church right before election.
And he's coming to tea someday.
Oh, no, you can't do that. I won't let you. You
Oh.
cannot leave this house and you cannot have Judge Coleman to tea.
But he's so lonely after that his wife died a couple years ago.
Mortimer, if you're not going to do something about Jonathan and Mr. Spinalzo, we are.
I'm going to do something. We might have to call the police in later, but if we do, I want to be ready for them.
Okay, but if they're not out of this house by morning, we're going to have to call the police.
Will you please let me do this my own way? I've got to see Terry. And yeah, they'll be out. I promise you that. Go to bed, will you? And for God's sake, get out of these clothes. You look like Judith Anderson.
Well, that's a relief, isn't it?
Yes, if Mortimer's really going to do something about Mrs. Spinalzo at last, that just means Jonathan's going through a lot of trouble for nothing. We better tell him. Jonathan, you better stop what you're doing.
It's all done. Did I hear Mortimer?
Well, we'll just have to be undone. You're all going to be out of this house by morning. Mortimer's promised.
Oh, are we? Well, in that case, you and Almata can go to bed and have a pleasant night's sleep.
Yes, come, Abby.
Good night, Aunties.
Not good night, Jonathan. Goodbye. By the time we get up, you'll be out of this house. Mortimer's promised.
And he has a way of doing it, too.
Then Mortimer's back.
Yes, he's upstairs talking to Teddy.
Goodbye, Jonathan.
Goodbye, Jonathan.
Perhaps you'd better say goodbye to Mortimer.
Oh, you'll see Mortimer.
Oh, I'll see Mortimer.
That's all fixed up, smooth like a lake. Nobody'd even know we're down there. Oh, that bed feels good already. 48 hours we didn't sleep. Let's go upstairs, yeah?
You're forgetting, Doctor.
What?
My brother Mortimer.
Ah, Johnny, not tonight.
Yes, Doctor, tonight.
Johnny, let's get going.
No, we're taking care of Mortimer tonight.
But You're operating tomorrow, doctor, but tonight. No, Johnny, it's too late now to dissolve our partnership. I see, I know that, Luke. Okay, we do it, but the quick way, the quick twist, like in London,
No. I think this calls for something special. I was thinking perhaps the Melbourne method.
No, Johnny, not that. Not the Melbourne method. 2 hours, and for what? The fellow in London was just as dead as the fellow in Melbourne.
Oh, but in London, there was something to remember, you know. There was aesthetic satisfaction.
Remember?
And in London we had to work way too fast.
Remember, I wish I didn't. No, Johnny, not Melbourne, not me.
Yes, doctor. Where are your instruments?
I won't do it, Johnny, I won't do it.
Get your instruments.
No, Johnny, I won't do it.
Where did you hit them?
I won't tell you.
You hit them in the cellar. I will find them.
Oh, don't do that, Mr. President.
I cannot sign any proclamation without consulting my cabinet.
But this must be a secret.
A secret proclamation now. How unusual.
Japan must know until it's signed.
Japan, those yellow devils. I'll sign it right away. You have my word for it.
Yes, let's go and sign it.
No, you stay here. A secret proclamation needs to be signed in secret.
But at once, Mr. President.
I have to put on my signing clothes.
You go now, okay?
No, doctor. I'm waiting for something.
No, please, you go now.
Dr. Einstein, I have nothing against you personally. You seem to be a nice fellow. Take my advice and get out of this place and get yourself as far away as possible.
Trouble, yeah, now get out.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
I'm warning you.
Things are going to start popping around this place any minute.
Listen, he's in a bad mood. When he's like this, he's a madman. Things happen, terrible things.
Jonathan doesn't worry me now.
Himmel, don't those plays you see teach you anything?
About what?
Well, at least people in plays act like they got sense, and that's more than you do.
You think so? Do you? You think people in plays act intelligently? Oh, I wish you had to sit through some of the plays I have to sit through. Take the little opus I saw tonight, for instance. In this play, there is a man. He's supposed to be bright. He knows he's in a house with murderers. So he ought to know he's in danger. He's even been warned to get out of the house. But does he go? No, he stays. Now I ask you, doctor, is that what an intelligent person would do?
You're asking me?
This man didn't even have sense enough to be frightened, to be on guard. For instance, the murderer invites him to sit down.
You mean, won't you sit down?
Believe me or not, that one was in there too.
And what did he do?
He sat down. So there he sits, the big fellow, the one who's supposed to be bright, just waiting to be trussed up. And what do you think they used to tie him up with?
What?
The curtain cord.
Well, why not? It's a good idea. Very convenient.
Well, a little too convenient. The curtain cord. When our playwright's going to use some imagination.
And he didn't see him get it.
See him get it? He said that with his back to him. And that's the kind of stuff we have to suffer through, night after night. And then they say it's the critics that kill the theater. It's the playwrights that kill the theater. Curtain cord. Well, so there he sits, the big dope, one who's supposed to be intelligent, just waiting to be trussed up and gagged. Ah! Ah!
Well, you were right about that fella. He wasn't very bright.
No. Mortimer, if you don't mind, we'll finish this story for you. You know, I've been away for 20 years, but never once in all that time, my dear brother, you were out of my mind. One night in Melbourne, I dreamt of you. And when we landed in San Francisco, I felt this strange satisfaction. Once more, I was in the same country with you. Okay, doctor. Doctor, we get to work.
Please, Tony, for me the quick way.
No, doctor.
I'm gonna need a drink. I can't do this without a drink.
This must really be an artistic achievement after all.
No, I
We're
can't do
performing
this.
for a very distinct critic.
No, I can't do this without a drink.
Pull yourself together, doctor.
No. When we walked dinner this afternoon, there was wine on the table, remember? Where did she put that? Look, Johnny, drinks. That's all there is, but that's okay. We'll split it.
One moment. Doctor, where are your manners? Mortimer, I realize now it is you who brought me back to Brooklyn. Doctor, to my dear, dead brother. He goes next. We get to Teddy later.
No, we don't get to him at all.
Oh, and now we've got to work fast.
Yes, Jenny, the quick way.
Yes, Doctor, the quick way.
Hey! The Colonel's gotta quit blowing that horn.
It's all right, officer. We're taking the bugle away from him.
There's gonna be hell to pay in the morning. I promised the neighbors he wouldn't do that anymore.
It's fine. We'll handle it now. Good night.
I better speak to him myself. Where are the lights? Hey! You stood me up! I waited an hour at Kelly's for you. What happened to him?
He was just explaining the play he saw tonight. This is what happened to the fella in the play.
They have that in the play you saw tonight? Gee, they practically stole that from the second act of my play. Why, in my second act, just before the... I'd better begin at the beginning. It opens in my mother's dressing room, where I was born. Only, I ain't born yet. Huh? Oh, no. Got to hear the plot. See, she's sitting there, making up. When all of a sudden, through the door, a man with a black mustache walks in, turns to my mother, and says, "Miss Latour, will you marry me?" He doesn't know she's pregnant. There she is, lying unconscious across the table in her lingerie. The chink is standing over her with a hatchet. I'm tied up in a chair, just like you are. The place is an inferno of flames that's on fire. When all of a sudden, through the window, in comes Mayor LaGuardia. Hey, remember who paid for that? Go easy on it.
Well, I'm listening, ain't I?
How do you like it so far?
Well, I put Johnny to sleep.
Let him alone. If he ain't got no more interest in that, he don't get a drink. All right, it's 3 days later. I've been transferred and I'm under charges. That's because somebody stole my badge. All right, I'm walking my beat on Staten Island, when it turns out the guy that I'm following is really following me. Don't let anybody in. So I figured I'll outsmart him. There's a vacant house on the corner. I goes in. He stands there in the dark, and I see the door handle turn.
It's cops.
I pulled my guns,
It's cops.
brace myself against the wall, and I say, "Come in!" Hello, boys.
What the hell is going on here?
Hey, Pat, what do you know? This is Mortimer Brewster. He's gonna help me write my play. I was just telling him the story.
Did you have to tie him up to make him listen?
Joe, you better report in at the station. The whole force is out looking for ya.
They said you're here for me?
We didn't know you was here.
No, we came to warn the old ladies that there's hell to pay. The colonel blew the bugle again last night.
Yeah, from the way the neighbors have been calling in about it, you'd think the Germans had dropped the bomb on Flatbush Avenue.
The lieutenant is on the warpath. Says the colonel got to be put away somewhere.
Yes.
Gee, Mr. Brewster, I gotta get away. So I'll just run for the third act quick.
Now get away from me.
Say, do you know what time it is? It's after 8 o'clock in the morning.
It is? Gee, Mr. Brewster, the second act runs a little long, but I don't see anything we can leave out.
You can leave it all out.
And who's that guy?
That's my brother.
Oh, the one that went away. So he came back?
Yes, he came back.
Oh, okay. This is Brophy. Get me Mac. Joey, better report you in at the station. Mac, tell the lieutenant he can call off the big manhunt. We've got him in the Brewster house. Do you want us to bring him in? Okay, yeah, we'll keep him right here. The lieutenant's on his way over.
So I've been turned in, huh?
What?
Well, I suppose you and that stool-bridging brother of mine will split the rewards.
What?
Now I'll do some turning in. You think my aunts are sweet, charming old ladies? Well, they've got 13 buddies buried down in their cellar.
Daddy! What the hell are you talking about?
You better be careful what you're saying about your aunts. They happen to be friend of ours.
13 buddies, I'll prove it to you. I'll show it to you. Come down the cellar with me.
Wait a minute.
13 bodies, I'll show you where they're buried.
Oh, yes?
You don't want to come down the cellar with me?
You go down in the cellar with him, Abe.
Oh, well, I'm not so sure I want to be down in the cellar with him. Just look at that face. It looks just like Frankenstein's monster or something. Hey, what the hell? Back! Get him off me! Well, what do you know about that?
What the hell is going on here? I told you I was gonna handle this.
Well, we're just about to,
What happened? Did he put up a fight?
This is not the guy that blows the bugle. This is his brother. But he tried to kill Klein.
All I said was, he looked like Frankenstein's monster.
Turn him over.
Yeah, we kind of think he's wanted somewhere.
Kind of think he's wanted somewhere? Yes. Well, if you're not gonna look at the circulars up in the station, at least you could read True Detective. Certainly he's wanted somewhere in Indiana. Escaped from the prison for criminal insane. He's a lifer. Guys, that's how he was described. He looked like Frankenstein's monster.
Was there a reward mentioned?
Oh yeah, and I'm claiming
But he
it.
tried to get us down in the cellar.
Yeah, you said there were 13 bodies buried down there or something.
13 bodies?
Yes.
And that didn't tip you off he came out of a nut house?
Always thought he talked kind of crazy.
Oh, there you are, Shakespeare. Where have you been all night? And you didn't bother to tell me.
I've been right here, sir, writing a play with Mortimer Brewster.
Oh, really? Well, you're gonna have plenty of time to write that play. You're suspended. Now get back and report in.
Can I come over sometime and use the station typewriter?
Oh, get out of here right now. You two, take that guy somewhere and bring him to. Also, see what you can find about his accomplice.
Is what?
The guy who helped him escape. He's wanted as well. Oh my god, no wonder Brooklyn's in the shape it is with the police force full of flatheads like you. Falling for that kind of story. 13 bodies.
There are 13 bodies in the cellar.
Who are you?
President Roosevelt.
What the hell is this?
He is the guy that blows the bugle.
Good morning, Colonel.
Well, Colonel, you've blown your last bugle.
Another yellow fever victim.
What?
All the bodies in the cellar are yellow fever victims.
No, President. This is a spy. We call him White House.
A spy.
Will you get that guy out of here?
If there's any questioning a spy, it's my department.
Oh, no, you keep out of it.
Oh, no. You're forgetting. As President of the United States, I'm also head of the Secret Service.
Captain, I'm Mortimer Brewster.
Well, are you sure?
I want to talk to you about my brother, the one who blew the bugle.
Oh, Mr. Brewster, he's got to be put away.
Oh, I quite agree. In fact, it's all arranged for. I've got a signature signed by Dr. Galchrist, our family physician. And he signed them himself as well, and I signed them as next of kin.
Oh, where's he going?
To Happydale.
Oh, I don't care where he goes as long as he goes.
Oh, he's going all right. I just want you to know that everything that's happened around here, that he's responsible for. Now, those 13 buddies.
No, Mr. Brewster, we ain't gonna talk about that. It ain't enough that he's disturbing the peace and all the neighbors are all afraid of him with that bugle, but can you imagine if that cockeyed story of 13 bodies would get out? And now he's starting a yellow fever scare. Cute, ain't it?
Oh, yeah, 13 buddies. Do you think anybody would believe that story?
Well, you know, people are just dumb enough. About a year ago, a crazy guy started a murder rumor down in Greenpoint, and I had to dig a half an acre lot just to prove that.
Oh, will you excuse me?
Sure.
Good morning, Mortimer.
Good morning, dear.
This is Mr. Witherspoon. He's come to meet Teddy.
To meet Teddy.
Yes, Mr. Witherspoon. He's the superintendent of Happydale.
Oh, come right in. This is Captain...
Lieutenant Rooney. Glad to meet you, Superintendent, because you're taking him with you today.
Today?
No, not today.
Elaine, you're along home. We've got a lot of business to attend to.
Nuts.
I had no idea. Was this immediate?
Well, the papers are all signed here.
Complete subordination! You men will find out I'm no mollycoddle! When the president gets treated like that, what's that country coming to?
Well, Super, there's your man.
Yeah, just a minute. Mr. President, I've got very good news for you. Your time of office is finally up.
Is this March the 4th?
Well, practically it is.
Now, let's see, what's next? my hunting trip to Africa! Well, I must get started immediately. Is he trying to move into the White House before I moved out?
Who Ted?
Taft!
Oh, this isn't Mr. Ted. This is Mr. Witherspoon. He's the superintendent of Happyville.
Of Happydale?
And he's to be your guide in Africa.
Oh, bully! Bully, well, I'll bring down my equipment. If the safari comes, you tell them to wait. Goodbye, Abby. Goodbye, Martha. I'm going to Africa! Isn't it wonderful?
Good morning, darlings.
Oh, we have visitors.
Yeah, this is Lieutenant Rooney.
My, you don't look like the fuzz budget policeman say you are.
White Lieutenant is here. You see, Teddy blew the bugle again last night.
Yes, we'll have to speak to him about that.
Well, Miss Brewster, I'm afraid it's a little bit more serious than that.
Yeah, and you haven't met Mr. Witherspoon. He's the superintendent of Happydale.
You've come to see Teddy. He's come to take him.
Aunties, the police want Teddy to go there. Today.
Oh no.
Not while we're alive.
Well, I'm very sorry, ladies, but the law is the law. He signed the papers and he's going.
We won't permit it.
We won't be separated from Teddy.
Ladies, he's committed himself. He's going today.
If he goes, we're going too.
Yes, you'll have to take us with him.
Well, why not?
Well, that's sweet of them to want to, but I'm afraid we can't take sane people at Happydale.
Quite with Mr. Witherspoon. If you let us go live there with Teddy, we'll see that Happydale's in our will for a very generous amount.
Well, the Lord knows we could use the money, but I'm afraid.
Oh, now, ladies, let's be sensible about this. Here I am, losing my time when I have more important stuff to do. See, there's still murders to be solved in Brooklyn?
Yes. Oh, are there?
Well, yeah. It ain't only this bugle blowing and the peace all disturbed, but at the end of the day, we'd have to dig up your cellar.
Our cellar?
Yeah, your nephew has been talking around that there are 13 bodies buried in that cellar.
But there are 13 bodies in our cellar.
If that's why you think Teddy should go away, then come with us and we'll prove it to you.
There's one, Mrs. Spinazzo, who doesn't belong there and who will have to leave. But the rest are our gentlemen.
I don't think the lieutenant wants to go down in his cellar. He was just telling me that only last year he had to dig up a half-acre lot. Weren't you, Lieutenant?
Well, that's right.
Well, you won't have to do much digging here. The graves are all marked. We put flowers on them every Sunday.
Flowers. Flowers? Super. Don't you think you can find some room for this, ladies?
Well,
You just come to the cellar and we'll show you.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'll take your word for it, lady.
Well, if we can go live there with Teddy, let's sign the papers. Where are they?
Yes, where are they?
He's coming around, Lieutenant.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Fine.
Mr. Klein, you're here too.
Yeah, both of you may have got your other nephew out in the kitchen.
Okay, Super, let's get all this cleared. I'm a busy man.
you'll sign right here.
You here, Aunt Abby?
I'm really looking forward to going. The neighborhood has changed so.
Just think, a front lawn again.
Oh, we're overlooking something.
What?
We're going to need a signature of the doctor.
Oh, Dr. Einstein. We'd like you to sign some papers.
I think I must go.
Oh, Dr. Einstein, you can sign some papers for us. At one point last night, I thought the doctor was gonna operate on me. Dr. Einstein, come right over. Come right here, doctor. You may sign right here.
Where are you leaving, Doctor?
I think I must go.
Aren't
Are
you
you
going?
gonna wait for Jonathan?
I don't think we're going to the same place.
Hello, Elaine. Glad to see you.
Oh.
Stick around, huh?
Don't worry, I'm going to.
Hello, Mac. It's Rooney. See, we got the guy who was wanted in Indiana. Now, there's a description of his accomplice on my desk. Will you read it to me? Yeah, about 54, 5'6", 104 pounds. Poses as a doctor. Yeah, thanks.
It's right, Lieutenant. The doctor has just completed the signatures.
Well, doctor, you're doing Brooklyn service.
Mr. Bruce.
It's next of kin. Yes, of course, why not? Right here?
Yeah, that's fine.
That means everything complete. Everything legal.
Oh, yes.
Aunties, you're safe.
When do you think you'll be ready to start?
Mr. Witherspoon, why don't you go upstairs and tell Teddy just what he can take along?
Upstairs?
Oh, I'll show you.
No, Mortimer, you stay right here. We want to speak with you. Yes, just upstairs and turn to the left.
Okay.
Well, now that we're moving, this house really is yours.
Yes, Mortimer, we want you to live here now.
Oh, no, Aunt Abby. This house really is too full of memories.
You really will need a home once you're married.
Oh, that's very indefinite.
No. We're going to get married right away. It's nothing of the kind.
Mortimer, we're really very worried about something.
You're going to love it in Happydale.
Oh, yes, of course. We're very excited about the whole thing, but that's just it. We don't want anything to go wrong.
Will they investigate those signatures?
Oh, they won't be looking Dr. Einstein.
That's not his signature we're worried about, dear. It's yours.
You see, you signed as next of kin.
Yes, of course. Why not?
Well, this is something we never wanted to tell you. But now you're a man, and it's something Elaine should know too. Mortimer, you're not really a Brewster.
You see, your mother came to us as a cook, and you were born about 3 months afterward. But she was such a sweet woman, and such a good cook, and we didn't want to lose her, so brother married her.
I'm not really a Brewster.
Oh, no, don't feel bad. And Elaine, it won't make any difference to you?
Elaine, did you hear? Do you understand? I'm a bastard.
Now I really must see about breakfast.
Yes, Mortimer and I are going home. Father's gone to Philadelphia, and Mortimer and I are going to have breakfast together.
I need some coffee. I had quite a night.
Well, in that case, I should want to think you get to bed.
Yes, I want to go to bed.
Here, Mr. Witherspoon, take this with you.
Hey, we won't need the wagon. Our car's out front. Are you leaving?
Yeah, I'm afraid he is. There's some people in Indiana who want to take care of him for the rest of his life. Let's go.
Well, it's nice to know you have some place to go. We're moving to. We're going to Happydale.
Well, then this house is seeing the last of the Brewsters.
Not if Mortimer wants to live here.
I have a suggestion to make. Why don't you turn this house over to the church?
We never thought of that.
After all, it should be part of the cemetery.
Okay, let's go. I'm a busy man.
Well, my aunts, now I can't better my record, but neither can you. At least I have that satisfaction. The score stands even, 12-12.
Jonathan always was a mean boy. Never could stand to see anyone get ahead of him.
I wish we could show him he wasn't so smart. Mr. Witherspoon, does your family live with you at Happydale?
I have no family.
Well, I suppose you consider everyone a happy young family.
I'm afraid you don't quite understand. As head of the institution, I have to keep quite aloof.
That must make it very lonely for you.
It does at times, but my duty is my duty.
Well, Martha, if Mr. Witherspoon won't join us for breakfast, I think we should at least offer him a glass of elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine?
We make it ourselves.
Yes, of course. At Happydale, our relation will be more formal, but here, you see, you don't see much elderberry wine around nowadays. I thought I had my last glass of it.
Oh no.
Here it is.